don't understand what the numbers mean. And I think another problem is that people look and they go, oh, this is good, I've made a profit, it's all okay. But is it good? That's the bit that, so to me, a P&L is useless. I don't really think a P&L is that great. I think what's more important is that you've got a forecast and a budget and you're comparing your P&L to what you set out as your forecast and budget. Because otherwise, how do you know it's a good year? People think profit's a bad word. Now, I don't. I actually think what it is a safety blanket. And I think a lot of people work in a business that effectively pays them a wage and doesn't make any super profits, i.e. the fat in the business. So my whole thing with super profits was, I need X to live and I need to make X more so that I've got some super profits, which is fat in my business.
Where would be a great place for them to start? So my guest today helps business owners fear from their numbers and start growing from them. He's also helped some very successful and wealthy people. So Jon Holiday,
hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you.
So you mentioned, you put a post out recently about acquiring a company and not so much money down.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about that.
I've done that a few times.
So, what, the post or companies?
Yeah, the post.
Yeah,
gets a
okay.
lot of interaction. No, there's lots of ways of doing that, and I think the main way of doing it is you have to build a relationship first. So I don't think you can sort of go into whatever company and say to them, oh, I want to buy your company, I don't want to pay anything for it. I think there always has to be a value add if you're going to go that route.
Right.
But it is something we've done in the past. So for us, for example, we've bought accountancy firms. We've often bought them on an earn out. So effectively, we said to them, we'll pay you 25% of money banked for the next 4 years. Now, typically on the accountancy model, it's to pay 1 to 1.2 times fees.
Right.
So a typical sort of accountancy model. So whatever the recurring revenue is, if it was £1 million, you'd pay 1.2 effectively. What we're saying is we'll pay you 25% of fees, but we will get your fees up. So we can show that every single year we've grown our turnover by more than 25% for the last 14 years. So we're saying to them, well, you're going to get all that compound growth as well. So it actually works out they get about 1.6, 1.7 times fees.
Okay.
So it's a better deal for them. No cash down deal for us. I mean, typically I say it's no cash down. We are still probably, like the one we're doing at the moment, we are still front funding all of the furniture. We're front funding the office that we're leasing in another town. So we are putting some cash in, but we're not actually giving any cash to the owners.
I think that's probably, but then you would have picked that, wouldn't you, knowing what your strengths are?
Yeah.
And gone into that deal knowing we can actually do this if we need to.
There needs to be a value add.
Yeah.
I think you also need to be quite confident that you're going to grow it, and you know that. I wouldn't want to do it with a day nursery or something. I don't know how to run a day nursery, so I couldn't just go in and do that model on a day nursery. I also know that the bank would support us if we got in trouble and we needed to just cut it and get out. The bank would give us the loan because effectively they know that we know how to run accountancy practices. So yeah, I think you need to know your industry. But we've had lots of clients that have done those deals. So again, another way that they often happen is where there's property involved. So if you're buying a freehold property, say you've got a freehold property for £1 million, maybe you're paying £500,000 for the business. Quite often they'll say, well, I'll give you the property value on day one. So we give you the £1 million on day one. But that £500,000 we're going to do on a deferred vendor note effectively from the seller. So again, they're getting some money on day one, but they're only getting it on the bricks and mortar. They're not getting it on the business as such. So again, that's another way that we've seen that happen in the past. So yeah, it does happen. I don't think it happens as often as what people say. And I think you need to have a fair amount of credibility in that industry and potentially a bit of a net worth to do it, probably. A lot of it's PG, doesn't it?
Yeah. I suppose it is putting your neck on the line, isn't it, as it were? So it's
Yeah, I don't think people would do it if you didn't have anything. I think doing the first one would be tricky.
You need something, don't you? Like you say, some sort of credibility.
I think so.
So with the no money down part then, other than the credibility and so on, so it's nurturing that relationship a little bit, investment of your own time into, let's say, the owners of that company that might be open to that sort of, because also there was something else that I read about, that sometimes, depending on what tax bracket they are and so on, it's actually more tax efficient for the owner to step aside with this drip-fed money. Is there any truth in that?
Well, they're going to get, it depends how they own it. So they're either going to get substantial shareholder exemption if they own it in a company, which means they pay 0% tax, or they're going to get it a business asset disposal relief, so they're going to get it at the 14 or 18%, depending on when the exit happened.
Right.
So, yeah, there is an element of truth in that. I think especially where tax rates are going up, So when you're on a tax year end, I mean, it used to be that was 10%. So when it was 10% going to 14, a lot of people were like, we want to jump now because we're going to cement the 10% rate. Obviously, if that's not there, that doesn't sort of, it's a catalyst, isn't it, to get business deals done. So I guess the solicitors and accountants are very busy around tax rises.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's quite static. So hopefully,
It's still risen.
Hopefully it will stay static. I don't know if it will. What's going on at the minute? We'll see.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So take us back a little bit. So what got you into finance originally?
That I didn't want to go into finance. Did I want to go into finance? I wanted to be a stockbroker. I just wanted to make money, to be honest.
Really?
That was probably the truthful answer. When I was 16 to 18, I probably just wanted to make money. I probably wanted to be a millionaire. I think that was always a dream as a kid. I don't know why, but it was something I always wanted. I couldn't get a job in finance. So, I couldn't get a job as a stockbroker. My grades weren't very good at school. And luckily, the job that I went to, I ended up buying it, but the company I went to, no one applied for the job as a junior accountant. So I was in. So that was it, in the door.
Yeah. And that's how you got into it? Almost fell into it.
I fell into it. I'm not sure if I loved it. I love it now.
Yeah.
I don't really like the account side of the accountancy. I like the helping people.
I was going to say, do you love the strategy part of it, the business side of it, or do you actually love the numbers side of it? Like,
I hate the number bit.
Yeah.
I'm not actually very good at the number bit. I've got better accountants than me in our team. There's better tax people than me in our team. I think I'm a good problem solver, and I think I'm good at challenging people. So I think I'm good at challenging our tax experts or our accountants and saying, have you thought about doing it this way? And they say yeah or no, and then we go down another route. I think that's one of my stronger points. I don't really think I'm the world's best accountant. Probably shouldn't say on a podcast.
No, but I tell you what though, because accountancy, I think, get a bit of bad press regarding, I don't know, personality, fun, I suppose, or actually thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Rather than just you go and buy the book, you think you don't want that. Right? Certainly not in today's world. You need to think outside the box. I think it's probably why you've been so successful in your accountancy firm side of things, because you're the person that's thinking outside the box, and they're the ones giving you the guidance and the right way of doing the numbers, so to speak, to keep the HMRC happy and the clients. You're saying, well, actually, have you thought about this? And they go, actually, no, we don't, because I think sometimes you get so bogged down in the day-to-day and the rigid numbers and the rigid laws that it's a bit hard to see.
I think, and I think
because you're that person, aren't you? Doing it.
Yeah.
From an entrepreneurial side of things, I would imagine.
I think for me as well, I've always had a knack of retaining weird detail. So I've got, we all have our weird ismy things. But my ismy thing is I can notice things very, very, irrelevant things to most people, but to me, they're quite relevant.
Yeah.
And then I retain them. But I forget everyone's name. So I'm really bad at names. But if you told me something
Steve?
totally random, exactly. Yeah, don't try me because I get it wrong. But no, if you ask me something really random, if you gave me a fact and asked me in 2 years, I'd remember it. Wow. So I'm very good at saying, "Oh, do you remember this about that client?" And everyone's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "I remember from the meeting that they said this." So that's again something that's helped me a lot, probably. I do worry as I get older, I might lose that skill and then I'm worthless. I'll have to just go and sit in the corner on my own. But we'll see.
I doubt that. So we had a quick chat beforehand about. So you're now going into sort of helping other businesses and business owners, say to speak. Would it be fair to say like a mentor or coaching?
We seem to be offering more of those sort of services in accountancy now. Well, that seems to be more my role. So my role is obviously running our team. We've got quite a big team now. So my role is running our. Well, I don't even know if it is. We've got people who run our team. I don't know what my role is anymore. Yeah. But I seem to be doing.
You're on podcasts.
I do podcasts. That's it. So helping people, helping companies to grow. That's probably the bit that I'm actually more passionate about than doing the accounts.
Why do you reckon that is? Why do you think you've kind of gone down that route now? What have you seen that's made you think, there's a bit of a gap there, I can help out?
I don't know if it's even a gap. I think the thing for me is if you're growing, you've always got opportunity. So opportunity is a massive thing for me. I like opportunity. I like giving opportunity to my team. So if we don't grow, we can't give people in our team opportunity. We can't say, do you want to become a manager? Do you want to run this office? Do you want to run this? We can't do that if we're growing. If we're just going to stay as 6 people, then we're just going to stay as 6 people, aren't we? So that's why I've always personally believed in growth, because I think that we should give opportunity to other people. It's not necessarily that it lines my pockets more and it makes me more money. It's actually the fact that I can actually, make my team's lives better. And that's one of the things that I strongly believe in. I'm very grateful for the opportunity I was given when the person offered me the job and no one else wanted to give me the job. I think I paid him back for it. I believe that growth gives opportunity. I think growth also allows you to buy your way out of problems. So if you've got money coming in, it doesn't matter if a mistake happens potentially, because you can buy your way out of it, or you can get the experts in to help you get out of the problem that you find. Or, you know, if you've got a bit of a complicated case coming in, you can go and get real experts to come and help you with that. If you're not growing, you can't do that. So growth's important. I don't think it matters what industry you're in. I've got a lot of rules in my head that I obviously made when I was a kid, and one of them is stand still, go backwards. And I do always tell myself that. So if we don't grow, I have like a internal breakdown, a big internal breakdown.
Really?
Yeah. So we've had periods in our life where we haven't achieved more profit than we did in the previous months, and that really hurts me.
It's funny you mentioned that about the growth, and we'll come back to the other bits in a sec, but I'm similar. I think that all the while you're growing, like you say, you create opportunities, not just for yourself and for the company, but for the people within it. And it allows you to keep hold of the good talent and attract good talent. Because if you're, like you say, if you're just an office of 6 and that's it, you've been office of 6 for 10, it's just mundane, then why are the really good guys going to be staying with you? Because they probably see a bit of a sniff over the garden fence, someone's doing a bit better, and or trying to attract some good people, saying, look, we're growing and so on. It's a bit of an exciting, more of an exciting journey, isn't it, really, I think, if you have that mindset.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on this? But I think it comes from the owner.
What, the growth?
Yeah. Because if you're not growing as an individual, how can you better yourself and come up with better ideas? So I think you've constantly got to grow, learn, develop all the time.
Definitely got to learn. I'm a big believer in learning. I listen to so many books, audio books. That's literally the thing I do, is audio books. I have lots of friends who are entrepreneurial. I have lots of people that I was talking about, networking that I go to with the different people, and the same with yours. Those sort of people inspire you, they challenge you, they make you do more. Probably if I went and hang around with some of my friends, they probably wouldn't challenge me in that way. They would be talking more about the football scores from the night before and not about the best sales funnel in the world or whatever it is. So I think hanging around with those people does help. Obviously, sometimes it causes you a bit of anxiety and a bit of fear of missing out on some things, but I think it helps. Growth for me is so important. I think the thing for us as accountants that I realised really, really young. So when I first bought the business, we didn't have any money. Like, we were in a bad place to the point we couldn't pay our staff effectively.
Okay.
And I never wanted to go back to that. So that was the bit where I had complete scarcity of money, and I was kept me up at night. It was bad. Roll on now, it still seems to be a scarcity of money, but we're making a lot of profits. I'm not quite sure where the money's gone. But the reality is, it seems to be that we concentrated on marketing. No one ever taught us as accountants how to market, how to sell, how to get leads. What was the value of a lead? What was the lifetime value? No one taught us that. The audio books taught me that. And they were the thing that I kept reading, and I was thinking, well, what is lifetime value? And then we work it out, and I was thinking, oh, this is quite good. And then you do the maths, you do the compound interest. So at the moment, it probably costs us about £200 and something to acquire a client, which is nothing, really. Bearing in mind the average client stays with us for 6.5 years. So
are you allowed to share what that?
So I would imagine
lifetime
value. So the average fee is £5.5 grand, and I think we make about 30%.
Okay.
So what is that? It's going to be probably about 10 grand we're making.
Yeah.
So it's just literally. So every single month at the minute, we're signing up about 60 to 70,000 in new work every single month. That's off sales pages.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. But we've got a big team, so we've got to keep on going. We've got to keep on growing. Yeah. We bought so last year we bought an office. Well, this year actually, as the start of this year, we bought an office in Chelmsford, which probably didn't need. Well, we don't need it. We've got 2 people in it. It's a whole floor. Well, we've got the whole building, but we've taken a floor and rented the other 2. And everyone keeps saying, why have we got that office? And I'm like, one day we're going to grow into it. Yeah. And it's becoming more important, because it's now getting my focus, because I'm like, we need to grow into it. We need to utilise this huge, well, it's probably an office space for 25, 30 people. And at the minute we've got 2 in it, regularly 2 people in it. Yeah. So it's a bit silly. But to me, that the opportunity came along, we had to do it. And I do believe in the next 2 years we'll have it full, and it will be a good office, and it will attract talent, and it will work.
I think that's the vision, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of the visionary, in a sense. You can see that. You can see that office full.
Well, I believe it will happen. I think some of my team think I'm mad.
Yeah, that sort of growth at the moment, I don't think it'll be too long, to be fair, John.
Yeah, so it's all exciting, but I think you've got to do these opportunities when they come. I mean, I don't know if we bought a police station. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh yeah, so that was a good story.
Go on then, tell us more about that then.
So we basically we bought this police station, and it's in Malden. I've loved it forever, and I always thought as an accountant it'd be fun to have police cells to get the people in, to get the clients in the police cells.
Oh, okay.
Don't know why. I just thought it'd be fun.
If they don't pay their bills.
Yeah, I thought it's scary. So we got this. So basically, I kept ringing up the estate agent saying, "Can we buy this police station? Can we buy it? Can we buy it?" And eventually they said, "Yeah, you can," because they were trying to get resi on it, but they couldn't.
Okay.
They couldn't get it through. So like, turn up and buy it. So anyway, we bought it. It's probably the worst deal I ever did. So from a property deal point of view, it's not how you do it. So that's I lost a lot of money. From a property landlord investor point of view, it was awful.
Yeah.
But it's now the most beautiful office in the world, and I've got cell meeting rooms. You have to have a look on YouTube. It's a very it's a cool building that we've done. But yeah, that's I think again all my team thought I was mad, and now they all think it's brilliant. It's attracted a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of clients have come to us, but also a lot of good staff members have come to us because they're like, "We love your offices. They're so quirky. We want to work in here. It's a great environment."
Yeah.
All that's important, isn't it?
I think attracting the right team is very, very important, and sometimes it gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Because you say, well, I'll just give them the systems and processes and the how-to manuals, and they just follow it no matter who you are. You're like, no, it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a lot more than that. You get the right characters in your organisation, and you can really thrive a lot. And I think setting that system up, isn't it? That whole culture, that organisation, to have that. Yeah. And like with your office, I think that's amazing.
The office is great. And like I say, it probably was a bad investment, but I don't think there is anything I don't think there's such thing as a bad investment as long as you can see the long-term plan for it. The long-term plan now, it's like, it's not a genius mastermind, but it kind of is. It's kind of worked better than what anyone in our team thought it would. But at the start of it, I did think I was an idiot, and there was probably a lot of moments where I was...
Yeah. Or worrying at night time.
A lot of worrying at night time, yeah.
I think perhaps on reflection on the balance sheet, it might not look the best investment, but I think on an organisation and culture-wise, it certainly sounds like it's a really good investment.
And the marketing videos, have a look on YouTube.
I will do.
Ones that we've crammed out of it.
Yeah.
Really good.
I'll check that out. And just for any clarity, Malden is in near Chelmsford, isn't it?
So that's just outside Chelmsford.
Because there's another area called Malden in South London. So
so we're the ones outside Chelmsford. So we've got offices now in Chelmsford, Malden, got 2 in Southend and Ferrers. We've got one in a place called Purley, which is weird. And then we've got one in Southend now as well. So we've sort of got offices everywhere, across Essex.
So you're a bit like James Sinclair and his Rossies and just taking over the place.
Seems to be anywhere he goes, we're next door.
Yeah. Following the money.
No, it's a good place.
It's funny you mentioned about the growth and seeing the vision, because I had this really weird thing years ago. I used to be into bonsai trees.
Yeah.
And I think it works for any plant, but with bonsai trees, they can only grow as big as the pot.
Right.
I'm sure this works for any plant, but bonsai trees are a little bit more romantic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I used to think, I used to say to my friends, I need a new bonsai pot. And they're like, what are you talking about? And all it was, I needed some more staff, or I needed a bigger office, and that's all it was. It was just, I wasn't ready for it, but I needed it to grow into.
Right.
So it sounds like you've done the exact same thing with your office. You've bought a massive bonsai tree pot. Now you're waiting for it to grow.
Well, to be fair, when we moved into the police station, so we had, I can't remember what we had. I might have had 10 people at that point. And I remember us getting it, and everyone was like, so big, we're going to have to segregate it all so that we can have serviced offices. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, great plan. So we spent a lot of money on stupid systems that allow you to tag in and tag out. Within 12 months, we'd filled it with all our staff. So there's now 40 odd people in that office, and it's full. Yeah. So Chelmsford, at the minute is stupid, and it's a waste of money. Give it 12 months and be full, and then we'll be looking for the next thing to do. So... yeah, without room to grow, you don't grow, do you?
No, definitely not. No, exactly. That's what I mean. You need that because sometimes it can be like a bit of a glass ceiling, just constantly restricting you from growth, you know. So you've got to have that vision, I think, as well, and faith and trust. But also, you mentioned about the bad investment, and you know more than me, and certainly with your advisors, you can make a calculated investment, can't you? You know, okay, well, if it all went really tits up, we know that we've got X amount in the bank. That's really going to bail us. So we've got a certain financial backing, investor or whatever, that will pull us out. Yeah. So we've got the collateral, like they said, perhaps the relationships to pull us through, the relationships with the bank and so on. And I think, so it's not just, I'm going to copy John, go out and buy something. And all of a sudden you've got nothing backing it up, fully PG'd up to your eyeballs. No. I think you've got to have a bit of a strategy to it.
I think you've got to calculate it, and I think you've got to work out what, like you say, your fallback. So that wasn't our first purchase. We had several other commercials before that. That was the third or fourth one in the chain of them. So we had other things to go back to. We had other things we could sell if it went wrong. I wouldn't have done that as a first one. I probably wouldn't do it again. I will. To be fair, when I looked at an even bigger police station.
I reckon you will, mate.
Yeah.
I don't think you're done just yet.
I will do it again.
So just so you mentioned earlier on, just off air, about you're seeing some things that had business owners. I think you had a few thousand clients.
Yeah.
And you were seeing something that you felt you could probably help with, like a bit of a consistent pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know I too have started mentoring, only just on a small scale, and it's only because I've been not forced into it, but a few people kept asking me, so, all right, do you know what, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
And I always say, right, let's check your statements, like check your balance sheets and all your financial statements. Let's have a look at it. And some of them are not even checked yet. They wait for their accountant to send it at a quarter, and I'm like it's the fourth month, and they've gone for the last few months. I said, where do you know you're even going? And some of them are not looking too great.
Yeah.
And when I got to the bottom of one of them, it was like almost like because I had a feeling it was bad. Probably why I didn't check it. And I'm like, but if you checked it, it wouldn't be bad. Or there's a higher chance it wouldn't be bad. So do you think that people check it because they don't really know what to look out for, or they are actually just I know it's bad, I've got a feeling, I'm not even going to look at it?
I think a lot of people probably put it off. So they probably don't want to know, potentially. I think a lot of people don't understand it. I think that's another big problem, is that people don't understand what the numbers mean. And I think another problem is that people look and they go, oh, this is good, I've made a profit, it's all okay. But is it good? That's the bit that, so to me, P&L is useless. I don't really think a P&L is that great. I think what's more important is that you've got a forecast and a budget, and you're comparing your P&L to what you set out as your forecast and budget. Because otherwise, how do you know it's a good year? Oh, we made $100,000 profit. Well done. We wanted to make $500,000. That's a crap year. It might be good in the fact that you made $100,000, but you were meant to make $500,000. So how's that good? So to me, I think whenever we work with clients, we say to them, what do you want to make? And we've actually created a course with Will, actually, we were talking about earlier, called Super Profits. So it was something that I believe got me out the stum a long time ago, and Will's added some coaching elements to it and other parts, but effectively it all works around budgets. So what do you need yourself? What do you need yourself to take home to be able to live? And then effectively, how much do you need to take out your company to give you the money to take home to live? And effectively it all works through there, and it goes on to what's your target net worth that you want. It just sort of goes through there. But it's all about making budgets and small steps, compound saving, basically getting your savings up through there. It's worked well for me. But we still do it now. Everything all our numbers are shared with our team. So effectively we say to them, our marketing team tell us, how many new clients do we need to achieve this growth? Oh, you need 30 clients a month. How many leads do we need to get 30 clients a month? Oh, you need 55 leads a month. Right, how do we get them? So all of it's worked back. So everyone knows where it is. And once you work it like that, it's quite easy, because you just know what you've got to track. And to be fair, a few months ago, we had a problem. And we had a problem that the leads dropped. And that one really did cause me problems. I was literally like, why are the leads dropping? What's going on with the leads? Our marketing's crap. Like, why are we not doing this? And what we'd found out was really we'd stopped a lot of content. So we'd stopped the content, which stopped the leads. The pay-per-click was still working, but pay-per-click for us isn't the best leads. Content's a better lead for us. And for whatever reason, it stopped. So then we were like, right, we've identified it. We need to go back and get the content going again. The leads start coming in again. It all starts working again. So yeah, I think everything needs to be tracked. I'm a big believer in scorecards. I'm a big believer in budgets. Holding yourself accountable and holding your team accountable to them. It's got to be the answer, really.
I think that's really, really good, actually, when you, like Brad Sugar's, you probably said it before as well, begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's many people have said that.
Yeah.
But it is exactly that. And it was one of the things that we were speaking about the other day with a few business owners, and they were saying, oh, I want to earn like 10K a month. And I was like, okay. I said, but what are you going to get from that then? I said, and they go, oh yeah, but if I can take out the business, and don't forget you've got the 25% corp tax has got to come off of that, and then you then got, if you turn 10 grand a month, now you're on like, was it 43% tax? I said, so you probably want to drop down to 80. Oh no, actually over there it's over 100, isn't it? So it's like, is it 60 or 62% tax? I think it is.
What's this 100?
Over 100.
100 is 60%.
60%. I said, so you might be better off with like 8,000.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you know, and then perhaps invest in other stuff. Do you know what I mean? Keep the money in the business and invest that in other stuff and so on. But it's only when you start digging deep, it's like the old onion, isn't it? Like layer upon layer, and you just dig deep and you think, okay, well, I want to earn 10 grand a month. You're like, okay, what does that actually look like? And then you say, well, where are you getting it from? The company. Okay, well, what's the company look like? And then you dig it right back to the leads, as you say.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like that, but that's exactly how it works.
I think once you've worked out how you generate what you're generating, and as long as you generate enough and hold your expenses, then your profit's quite simple.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only a few ways to increase your profit, increase your sales, cut your costs, increase your margin. That's really the only ways to increase your profit. So tinker with those three and you've got it sorted.
Yeah.
There's no point cutting costs. I've seen clients before that have cut costs for the sake of cutting costs. And I mean, we spend 6 figures on marketing. We probably should, I did a post on this. We probably should spend 7. If we spent 7, it'd probably be better than buying a business. The problem is I don't think we'd be able to get the recruit quick enough to get the team in to service it. So buying another business actually gets us the team ready to do it, rather than us just going out and saying, oh, let's spend the money on marketing.
And it would come with a team, I would imagine, this business.
Comes with a team.
Yeah.
So any ones we buy are typically sort of, 10 people or whatever they are, 15, whatever it is that we're buying a sort of a smaller accountancy practice that's got a team with it. So yeah, that's the reason we would do that over marketing. But marketing would give us a better return if you look pound for pound.
Yeah, I think cutting costs has limitations though, which I think you've already touched on.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can cut, and then at some point, it's like what part comes a detriment to the actual running of the business.
Yeah.
Like you suddenly look for a cheaper system. You go to that cheaper system, you're like, actually, there's some key elements that other system was providing us, and now we're done for. So, sometimes you have limitations on cutting costs. I think the best thing, as you say, is look at the top line, build the sales, build the marketing, get the leads in.
I think it's just holding yourself accountable to all the figures. I mean, that's the thing that I've always been really disciplined at that. And I think some business owners struggle with that.
Yeah. Probably fearful of, like we said, fearful of actually looking at them, and not understanding them properly. You mentioned about the leads dropping. Did you get to the bottom? Was it the content? It was
content. Yeah.
Okay.
We went. I went through like a little personal wobble probably, and that was probably half the reason the content dropped. And I didn't really want to do it. Like I don't know, I felt like I'd built sales funnels that worked without me. And then I was doing content, and we were getting loads of like better leads. Bigger clients, I would say. And then I stopped that on my little personal wobble journey, and it dried up. So then the marketing team were like, "You've got to go back out." I'm like, oh. So yeah,
I was ready for the beach.
Yeah. I wasn't quite at the beach, but I was I was quite happy not having to do. I don't mind this. I don't like the stage bit. I'm like, oh, it's not really me. They don't teach you that at accountancy college.
No, I bet.
So I don't like that part.
It's funny you mention that, and I get what you mean about the wobble, because sometimes you're just not. I think that's a sign, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not a professional, but would you say it's a sign of like a genuine person when you really don't feel like actually putting content up, which normally most of the time has to be a positive tone of voice.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like it, you're not going to fake it.
Yeah.
So you think, do you know what? I can't bother with this right now.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I don't really like fake content. I'm not really one of these people. I mean, I don't smile anyway, but I can't put a smile on and just be like, oh, it's great. Yeah. Literally just like, I don't want to do it anymore. And everyone's like, oh, that's not very good. So all right. So yeah.
Well, I've had you smiling a few times in this podcast. That's a sign of a good time.
That's good. But no, it's yeah, I think it's part of the business journey. It's always.
I think it is.
I've been doing it 20 years now. I've learned there's good bits, there's bad bits, and there's bits that are all right. So, and I think it doesn't matter where you are. It's like that all the time, isn't it? Just going through it. So,
funny you mention that actually. So we mentioned obviously like Rob Moore before, didn't we? And he's got a business partner, and his business partner is an absolute genius, and he's so they've got this massive organisation, few hundred million, all this stuff, different departments and so on. And part of this legacy mastermind thing that I'm members of, I get to see them. Yeah. And Mark said, someone asked, what's your biggest income of leads, your biggest marketing campaign, and how did you set it up? And his point at Rob Moore is like, him. Yeah. Because he literally, we've got a massive team of sales, and he brings in more of his content, more than our entire team of sales. And you're like, he goes, when he switches off, it just drops down.
Well, we had a period where everyone from Edinburgh was contacting us. So we've got about 10 clients off from Edinburgh, and we were getting lots of calls. Yeah. And we're like, why are you ringing us? And apparently it was a YouTube video or YouTube something or other that was going around in it. It just hit a trend or whatever it does.
Wow.
So for ages, I felt like we were quite big in Edinburgh. And that trend stopped, so it's not anymore. But yeah.
Power of content though, isn't it?
Content, yeah. And you never know when it's going to come up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the good thing about content. They say that a lot, don't they? If you put it out there, it's there. and it's there forever, and it sometimes repeats, and someone watches it and they're like, oh, I like him, or I don't like him, or whatever it is, and they jump on it.
Yeah.
So I think content's important, really important.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of accountants we see that we buy that say we don't advertise, and they say very proudly, oh, we get loads of referrals, and I'm like, we get that, but we also get loads of people that didn't know who we were because we advertise, so we get both.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think advertising's important, marketing's important. We've now got 2 full-time marketeers that work for us, which is quite unusual for an accountancy firm. So they work full-time on growing us.
But I wondered, is it quite unusual for an accountancy firm to have sort of like a personality like yours that's constantly on the content front and constantly promoting in that way? I only ask because it's more of like a traditional industry, would you say? Or is it kind of on that turn now that it's kind of coming into a bit more of a modern time? There's many people doing that same kind of
I think the qualified accountants probably are still quite traditional, shall we say. I think there's probably some out there that are more flamboyant. Yeah, I was never meant to be an accountant. I don't think I've just fallen into this. So, it's one of those. But no, I think it's good. It does give us a little quirky edge.
I think so.
I mean, to be fair, I just like business. I like buying things. I like selling things. I like doing things. I think you should always just say yes and work out. We said that earlier, didn't we? I'm a big believer in say yes and work it out later.
Yeah, Richard Branson.
So, do that a lot.
Yeah.
You can put you on a good journey.
I think it is, and it sort of keeps you alive, doesn't it, really, So...
Oh, I've always said I don't want to get to the end and then say I regret not doing that. I'd rather do it and fail, or do it and not enjoy it, or just do it and never do it again.
Yeah.
Not do it. So
exactly.
I always say yes, and then if I don't like it, I won't do it again, or I'll just go home.
Yeah.
So that's the answer.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, I think we've covered off like what's a good growing strategy. Like checking your numbers, etc., and that sort of thing. But what if, let's say, for instance, like, because there's quite a lot of service-based business owners that like listen to this podcast, and what would be some good key areas that they could probably focus on? And some of them are like just got 2-3 people working for them, plumbers, window cleaners, and so on. What sort of things would they be looking at? Let's say they're part-time on the tools or full-time on the tools, that sort of thing. But they want to grow. They have that hunger that you have, and they just want to get to that next level. What kind of strategies could they adopt?
Yeah, I mean, I believe scorecards. So for me, scorecards are where every single week you put the key numbers into your key metrics.
What's like on a spreadsheet or something like that? Just something basic.
It could just be a bit of paper with the numbers
okay.
on. But yeah, I mean, a spreadsheet is how I would do it. But it could just be literally a pad with some numbers on. I mean, we've got I've just got 50% of a financial advisory business, and it's in its infancy, to be fair, that company. So there's 4 people in it at the minute. And we've worked our scorecard out. So one of the things that we're looking at is average age of our clientele. How many clients do we have? How much funds do we have invested? What's our recurring revenue off of those funds? Where are the leads coming from? So we're just updating that every week. And obviously then you can start to see the numbers increasing. You can see when they drop. So how many new leads have you got? How many inquiries have you got? What's your open quote rate at the moment? All those things allow us to see that we're going the right way. And obviously you want each number to grow. You want to incentivize when they do grow. So to me, any business could do that. It could be you're a builder or a brickie or whatever it is, electrician, and you might be saying, how many quotes have I done this week? What's the total value of quotes? If you've done 20 quotes that week and the week after you've done 5, why? What's dropped it? What's the reason behind it? To me, that's important because I think then you can start to see trends. And if you do it for years, you can really see trends. And I've had moments where the phone doesn't ring. I mean, we've all had that. The phone doesn't ring. And you think, oh, God.
You're ringing it yourself.
Well, yeah. Actually, what's going on? The phone's down. But you think I'm out of business now. You don't remember, you've got all the other revenue coming in. You just think, oh, that's it. I'm done.
It's growth.
I've finished now. But then I look at the numbers, and actually the numbers don't lie. So what happened 2 years ago is probably going to happen the same time this year, and it does. Like, if you look at the numbers, they're quite static. And I think that's important. I think as a business owner, when you lose belief, if you can look back through the history and say, actually, it worked then, it will work again. It will work again. And yes, what would they track? I think it depends on the industry. I think one of them I would always track is quotes and conversion rates. Because I think that tells you, I mean, some people say, oh, yeah, I always get 99% of every job I quote, I win. You're probably too cheap. Like, no one should be winning 99%.
Yeah.
That good a salesperson.
That's true.
But loads of people say it, and I think, well, you're too cheap. Why don't you put another 30% on it and see if you still win 99%. If you do, put another 30% on it and see if you still win 99. You should not be winning 99% of the work you quote. Something's wrong. Or you are the world's best salesperson, in which case I've got a job for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, contact John.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny you mention on the quotes conversion, etc., because and being too cheap and so on. I kind of feel that, again, just going back to the numbers part of things, understanding the numbers, that you can understand your break-even point. What must you earn minimum?
Yeah.
And then when you're going into a bit of a quote deal, you know what's the minimum you can go to if you're trying to negotiate, let's say, a larger contract, and you're trying to grow, you're trying to get a portfolio of work or whatever it is. Because whenever you get a portfolio of work, you have to kind of price it a little bit less so you can win it and so on. But it's understanding your numbers, and then all of a sudden you go in there with that power, don't you, of knowing, right, I know that I've got to walk out of this meeting with no less than
X.
Yeah, because then you know exactly what you need.
And I think in a lot of service industries it works. So if you know what your GP is, especially if you're like a gross profit, so if you're a construction company and you know what your gross profit is, and you know what your below the line is, so if you know that you're making 10% gross profit and your turnovers, or your below the line's 100,000, you know you've got to turn over £1 million to break even effectively.
Yeah.
Once you know those numbers, that's powerful, because then you actually know how much sales you need, or you need to get your GP up. So I had a meeting with a client the other day. I said to him, your GP's 12%, and they're like, what does that mean? I said, well, if it was 18%, you'd be making 200 grand profit over what you need.
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, I didn't know that. So then we were like, right, how much do we need to quote more to get it to 18%? I mean, 18% we didn't achieve, but we did get it to about 15, 16% on jobs, and he was still winning them. So all of a sudden then that's better than where we were. So, yeah, I think in service industry, it's important that you track your numbers. The numbers are the key thing. I mean, obviously service is the main thing, isn't it? Customer service in the service industry is very important. But people buy people. If you're a nice person, people will buy you, won't they? Or buy your service.
Goes back to our sort of like content, doesn't it? Personality and such, you know, people resonate with you and connect with you, and you can get business from it, as your numbers have rightly shown, really.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of ours is cold, like I say, a lot of ours is cold sales as well. But again, that's important. One of the things we did for cold sales was we actually trained all our team how to sell. So I used to take all the sales calls, and that was quite successful. We probably had a better conversion rate. But then I was like, this is stupid. I can't grow a business and me be the only person who does the sales. So now I don't do any cold sales. We'll not do them. So unless someone rings up and says, I want to speak to John, I won't ever jump on a cold sale call. Like, my team do it. We've got a sales system. They go through it all. We've built some tech around it. It's all quite systematized, but personable, and it is genuine. And it works. And I think that's an important skill that I've taught lots of people that other accountancy firms wouldn't have taught them that. Yeah. Because typically it's the partner that does the sale.
Oh, okay, right.
It's
what, from investment sort of thing?
Well, they're worried that people are going to steal. They're worried that the team are going to steal their clients. If you've got the connection with Brad's going to go with you when you leave Pocknall's.
All right, I see.
Well, I think, if Brad's happy with you, let him go with you.
Yeah.
Why would you stop it?
Yeah.
I don't want to upset Brad. I don't want to upset Jake or whoever it is in my team who's taking him. So let him go. Have a good life. We'll shake hands and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've never really got that. And a lot of the firms are very protective of their client base, and we're protective, but people work with people. If you like that accountant that works for me and they go around the corner, then you're going to go with them. And why would I stop you?
It's actually true, because I stayed with my accountant when she changed over.
Yeah.
She changed over firms.
When you moved?
I moved with her, yeah.
Yeah,
I stayed with her.
Trust her. You got to stay with her.
Yeah.
So, and we've always, I don't know. I don't think I've looked at things like a normal accountant would look at them. I've looked at them more. So my background was I worked in a shop since I was 12. I worked in a shop. The best thing that I loved about that shop was I got to meet loads of people, and every day it would be, morning, how are you? We'd have a chat. Yeah. Everyone left happy. I left happy. Everyone was happy. And I think for me, I've always liked recruiting people from pubs, shops, McDonald's, like anywhere where you've had to deal with people, because that to me is important. That's the most important part of business, is dealing with people. Accountancy probably is a bit of it, but and knowing a bit about tax law, but effectively just dealing with people. If you deal with people correctly, that's a big way to winning any service industry, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something that we've always recruited in. I've always enjoyed those types of people. I think we've always had a good team.
Do you know who else does that as well? Recruits people from anywhere? Richard Branson.
Does he? Oh, they are.
That's the third thing you said, actually. The English version.
I'm going to buy.
Yeah. I was saying English version, but Richard Branson's English as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I think with isn't there so many areas of business though?
Yeah.
I think we've spoken about recruitment, marketing, sales,
Yeah.
figures, finance figures, relationships.
Yeah. It's the funniest. I think it's brilliant business.
I do. It's brilliant, isn't it? But yeah. So say you got everything all in hand. Your scorecards. You got your scorecard in practice, and it's working well, and you're doing it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, and you're understanding it. What's the power of getting it right? What leverage can you get from it?
What, your scorecards?
Just understanding. Let's say scorecards, because that was the example you used, and that's a great example.
Scorecards, budgets. What's the leverage of it? For me, it means I can sleep at night every night, knowing that nothing's gonna go wrong. Yeah. So that's one big leverage, isn't it?
Or I think probably nothing. Not that nothing's going to go wrong. I think it's probably because you foresee things when they probably go wrong. Don't you? You start to see a little bit. You've clocked the numbers. You know the trends. You're like, okay, right. Do you know what? We're coming to a bit of a grey area. I know this from the last 10 years. Here's the numbers. Here's how we've done the last 10 years. Let's just follow it. And so you're almost seeing it rather than waking up one morning and suddenly the phone goes dead. Yep, I know this anyway. I've already got a plan in place.
Yeah, I agree. That's true. The thing I would say, though, is people think profit's a bad word. Now, I don't. I don't believe profit's a bad word. I actually think what it is a safety blanket. So for me, I say to my team, we've got to make X profit, and it's going to be 7 figures plus this year. We have to make that as a profit. And everyone thinks that's a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. But the reality is we've got a lot of people. So when things go wrong, we need some, and things will go wrong. When they do go wrong, we need that buffer. We need that security that, okay, we've had a bad 3 months. It doesn't matter. We've got the buffer. We get through it. To me, profit is the thing that keeps people there. It keeps it going, it keeps the business going. It allows you to market. It allows you to do whatever you need to do, get legal or whatever it is. It helps you in that period. And I think a lot of people work in a business that effectively pays them a wage and doesn't make any super profits, i.e. the fat in the business. So my whole thing with super profits was I need X to live and I need to make X more so that I've got some super profits, which is fat in my business. Once you've done that for 10, 15, 20 years, all of a sudden you've got quite a lot of super profits. And then at that point, you actually do feel like, well, what can go wrong? Yeah. And that's a nice place to be. I still think every day that something is going to go wrong, but when you actually look at it properly, it probably shouldn't, and it couldn't really go wrong, if that makes sense.
But I think, like we said, there's so many areas of business. It's like just, one time you just turn away from some particular area just for a few minutes. Yeah. And, you just drop it. It's just crazy, isn't it, how it works?
I think like everything as well, when you said, why do people not look at their numbers? It's like, for me, my weight's always been a problem. Don't know why. If I sniff a weight, I get definition. If I sniff a cake, I get fat, and I sniff more cakes than I do weights. So that's a problem. But it's a bit like that with profit. So I think if you look at your P&L regularly, like I look at mine, like, I don't know, every day. I actually reckon I look at it every day, which is pretty sad, really. If you concentrate on that and you concentrate on, are you on track with your numbers, you'll be on track with your numbers. Because if you're not, that's something that when you go and have lunch with your colleague, you say, oh, do you know that our leads are down this month or this day or whatever it is? Yeah. And they say, no. And you say, well, we need to fix that. And then it gets fixed, doesn't it? Yeah. But if you don't look at it for 4 months, all of a sudden you've got a big problem. So that's, yeah, I'm pretty anal on my numbers, weirdly. I wish I was more anal on my scales, but maybe that's one I've got to work on.
Well, I think it's probably whatever matters. And if you're having a good life, then, so be it. What harm can it do? But one thing I've noticed in my experience is, and I only realised this the last couple of years, and you'll probably say, well, that's obvious, Brad. But when you want to go and borrow money, or you want to go and, like you say, if you want to acquire a company, or you want to get some loan from a bank, whatever it is, the first thing they look at is your sheets, your financial reports. So if you're focusing on your numbers, they're suddenly looking, because your attention goes, energy flows and so on, and results show. That all of a sudden they're looking better, so now you can go and get better deals, and that's the leveraging of your focus, as it were, all your hard work. If you focus on the numbers, like you say, daily, weekly, monthly, just for 12 months, you will see some better numbers on your balance sheet at the end of it, and you'll be able to then go and ask for more money or acquire companies.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who does a weekly P&L will make more profit that year than anyone who doesn't do a P&L. Almost
or waits 3 months for their accountant to send.
Or wait 6 months till after the year end, or 9 months till after the year end to be told what it is. If you're looking at it every month, every week, you will make more profit than if you don't ever look at it. That, I reckon, almost is guaranteed advice, but I don't know if I can guarantee it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you're certainly in a good position to give that advice anyway.
But yeah, it's definitely something you should focus on.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree. So let's say, for instance, you get to a certain size. Yeah. and we touched on it a little bit earlier on about drawing profits and so on from the company. Do you have a bit of a strategy that you advise your clients, let's say of like the 50k, 100k, so on? When you get to 100k and you don't really want to give another 20% to the government,
Yeah.
what would be a good strategy for wealth
Well,
investment?
if you go much higher than that, you're not giving 20% to the government. So it's only on that 100 to 125 that you're losing the personal allowance, and that's where the extra 60, that's where the marginal rate of 60% comes in.
Okay.
So we have clients who earn 250, 500, a million, whatever it is. They don't really care about that because it's so far over that they're actually paying 45, 46% on the whole lot. And then
How does that work?
because it tapers back down. So effectively what it is, it's the fact that you've lost your personal allowance. So if you earn 110 grand, on that 10 grand, you've effectively paid 60%. So if that's why people say don't go over the 100. If you went to 250 grand, you're effectively paying 45% plus CNIC on it, or whatever rate it is, depending if it's dividends or PAYE. So yeah, I think we try and keep people under the 100. We try and keep people under the 50 if they can afford to. But the reality is some people can't afford to do that. Like, I'm not a big believer that the tax tail should wag the dog effectively. Like, I don't know. I think sometimes just pay the tax. If you pay the tax, you can live the life you want to live. And so I'm not all for don't pay tax. I think paying tax and making profits allows you to leverage. It allows you to buy commercial property. It allows you to buy residential property. It allows you to live in a nice house. It allows you to drive a nice car. Whatever it is, who wants to live on 50 grand a year but have £7 million in their company that they can't touch?
Yeah.
I mean, that's boring.
Yeah.
So, and one day, like, I don't know, I also believe that we should do things. Like, I'm a big experience person. As a child, I didn't really get the experiences. So now I'm like, well, I want to go skiing with my kids. I want to do this. I want to do that with my kids. I want to go to Euro Disney. I want to do this. It all costs money. So I have to pay whatever rate of tax it is that I have to pay to get it out and pay it and do it. So yeah, do we advise clients? Yeah, we do. But I also think clients have got to live a life that they want to live and enjoy the life that they've got personally. Otherwise, you're just
way of looking at it.
Saving money for no reason.
Yeah. Because I always say, like, the time is the most expensive currency. So it's kind of, like, you can't get that back. Like, we won't get this back now, but we're always going to earn more money.
Well, I leverage everything, which is a bit sad, really. I think that, again, I don't know what book it was. I read a book. It was like, get a dog walker. I've got a dog walker. That's a bit sad. I've got a dog that gets walked by a dog walker. Stupid, isn't it, really? I do walk it a fair bit, but my dog gets walked also. If I let it down, the dog walker doesn't let it down.
Yeah.
I literally have got all services because I've got a PT, I've got this, I've got that. But it's because it means that I'm quite rigid with what I do with my time. I'm quite rigid with the fact that I do it, it gets done, and that's me out, if that makes sense. So yeah, time is quite precious, isn't it?
Very, very. I think did you look at something like high value and low value tasks and then kind of try and outsource the low value and concentrate on high value?
We've definitely done it before, but then at the same time, I think you can't. So we have a gardener, but I mow the lawn. And everyone says, my wife goes a bit mad about that. She says, why are you mowing the lawn? It's because it takes quite a long time.
Because it's 4 acres, love.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. That's the one. It's just a job that I enjoy. So, and quite often it used to be, that hasn't happened recently, I'd put the headphones on, have an audio book, and I'd just walk up and down, putting the worst zigzag lines ever in a lawn, which the gardener would have done a lot better than what I did. And she'd say, you just wasted however many hours on it. And I'd be like, yeah, and it was the best time I've ever had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think sometimes it's not about outsourcing everything to protect time. If you enjoy it and it gives you a sense of purpose, you should do it, shouldn't you?
Yeah. When I say like high value and low value, I meant high value to you.
Yeah.
That sounds high value to you.
Yeah.
Whereas other people that really just hate mowing grass will say, "Oh my God, I'll just get a gardener."
Yeah,
But for you, you've leveraged it, haven't you? You said, "Okay, well, I'm doing it, really enjoying it, away from the screens, but I'm listening to an audiobook at the same time."
I don't want to weed. That is not me.
Yeah.
I'll put out all the good flowers. I would. I've been the best person ever.
So, you mentioned obviously about advice and books and so on. So, what would you say is the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
I don't know. I remember a guy once saying you can live to work or work to live. I remember that being one that was said to me when I was very young, and that's always stuck with me. So, and I think it probably stuck with me when I wasn't actually enjoying my job as much, because I thought, well, actually, I'm not enjoying this, but I'm getting paid okay, so maybe I should carry on. And now I'm loving it. So now I'm like, well, actually, I've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But there was a point in employment in accountancy where I was like, I'm not enjoying this. Should I really be doing this? but I don't know what else I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid all right. So then that was probably a bit, and I always remember that as a part. I think I've also had stories like, make sure you don't regret anything in your life. You know, what would you think on your deathbed? Things like that. Which again, I'm a big, like I say, I'm a big yes person. I just want to say yes. I think if you say no, you might regret it.
I mean, you've listened to a lot of audiobooks, and so you would know this anyway. And I think whenever you listen to these audiobooks and these people that have lived long lives and they've written something at the end, or they've written a book towards their end, they never mention that they wish they earned more money.
No.
It's always related to time.
Yeah.
And mainly time with people.
Experiences.
Yeah.
And also some of the best things I think I've had, experiences I had, is when people have said you've done something really, really good for someone and you didn't even notice you'd done it. So like at one of my colleagues' wedding, the groom's father said to me, "Thanks so much for what you've done for my son." And that one was a good one for me. I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't really realise I'd done that much." But bits like that are things you'll always remember.
It's amazing, isn't it? And you were helping somebody else.
Yeah, I like helping other people.
Yeah, I think most people do, but sometimes they don't know how to do it. But you know,
I think that's probably the most rewarding thing. And it's not necessarily like giving money or doing something. It's actually investing in people, giving them the time, giving them the opportunity. Oh, that's the most amazing thing ever. And I think I was lucky that people did it for me, and I want to do it for as many people as I can. And I hope all my team do really, really well. I will support them as much as I can on that.
Well, I think it's probably why you started your venture of helping other business owners, isn't it? Really, doing exactly that.
Yeah, it's an important thing.
So, well, you've got a lot to offer, to be fair, anyway. So that's really good. So the worst bit of advice you've ever had?
I think there's lots of bad advice out there.
Don't buy a police station.
No, I think there's lots of bad advice out there, and I think the internet is great, but I think the internet is also the worst place to get tax advice, the worst place to get pretty much any advice. I think you should always challenge everything you hear on the internet. I really am not, like I say, I think you mentioned it earlier, I really am not a big believer in earning 50 grand because it means you pay low tax and have an awful life, but have loads of money in the bank in a company. I'm not a big believer in that. I think you're only here once and you've got to enjoy it.
Brilliant. Yeah, good. So what do you think, like, let's say, for instance, if you've got a business and you're not checking numbers and don't really know where to start, where would be a great place for them to start right now, the listeners to start immediately?
I would get your bank statements out and I would work out what you're spending every month. I would start with your personal. What are you spending every single month personally? I would then work out how much is your company making and is it making enough profit to pay your personal bills. I'd start personal, do company budget, and then I would work out where I am from there.
Okay.
Because I think without looking at your personal spending, that's the first place to start. I think people don't associate the two. They don't associate what they spend personally and the business as two things, and they need to be tied in together.
What I've noticed about you, John, is you're a real people person, like personal, because you've mentioned it a few times, and many people talk about, it's all about the business, that's the thing you've got to focus on. You focused on everything you've said when I've asked those questions have been like from personal aspect. What do you want out of it from the business owner's standpoint? I think that's a bit of that's quite refreshing, because normally people that help other people tend to focus on just the business.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you're focusing on the person or the people and saying, okay, what do you want from it? And then work backwards.
Yeah.
And I don't think you've done it intentionally. I mean, it's just the way you probably just like mindset is,
Yeah.
Which is a great way, by the way. It's amazing. It's quite refreshing.
But I always think I had a meeting before this, and I said to the person, he said, "Oh, I can't get to that level," and I said, "Why not? Why can't you get to that level?" And he's like, "I don't know. No one's ever asked me that before." And I think, well, you could get to that level, and I always say that to everyone. Everyone says, "Oh, you can't get there," and I'm like, "Why not? Elon Musk did it, or Jeff Bezos did it, so why can't I?"
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet, so obviously I can't. But,
I think you will do.
Yeah.
A few more police stations
a few rockets, and then
a few rockets. Yeah, exactly. John, where can people find you if they want to get in touch?
So we're on YouTube. We're on Pocknell's website. We're there. We've got a few companies. So look us up, Pocknell's Group.
Potnells, you want to spell it out?
Pocknells. It would help if I didn't have an Essex accent when I said it, wouldn't it?
No, brilliant. Well, John, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed it. And you've given away tons of advice. It's brilliant. So thank you very much.
Thank you.